Hey guys, I'm Nathan from All Things Headrush, and the day has finally come. The new Headrush Core is here, and I'm very excited. So let's dig right in and check it out. So what you see here in front of me is the Headrush Core, and when I first unboxed this thing many months ago, yes, I've actually had it for a few months, and Headrush did send this out to me for free, and I'm going to do a slew of videos with it, and it's going to be great, and I'm just very, very excited. So let's get into why I think this Headrush Core might be right for you. And let's listen to some tones and see how it compares to the bigger brother, the Headrush Prime. So make no mistake, I've been a Headrush fan for many, many years. The first time I saw the Headrush pedal board in the demo by Pete Thorne, I was pretty much hooked. I said, if a unit can sound like that, and it has a touchscreen, and it's dead simple to use, then that's the unit for me. So I have dabbled in other units over the years, but I keep going back to Headrush just for the tones and simplicity, and it just gives me everything that I need and that I want for a recording setup and also playing live, whether that's at church or even playing in a band. So first off, you notice it is not quite as big as a Headrush Prime, but it's not as small as a Headrush MX5. It pretty much sits in the area of the gig board, except it has a little bit extra width because it has 5 switches across the bottom instead of 4. And it does have an array of outputs across the back that just takes the gig board up one more level with XLR inputs, a microphone input, so you can use these for vocals, and use this also for cloning anything else that you want, whether that's an amp, a plug-in, literally anything you can plug into it. So the graphics have been updated to what you are used to by seeing real amps or real pedals and not just little blocks on the screen. Now, I never minded the blocks on the screen with the older units, and I don't really mind the new graphics either. I don't really have a preference. They do look really, really cool though. So I know that's a big stickler for a lot of people out there. And now we have the actual graphics on the Headrush Prime and now the Headrush Core. We can easily go in and create a new rig by hitting the plus symbol. And we're just going to discard whatever I had going on previously. So we do have 14 blocks instead of 11. And we can change our signal path just by tapping the block up here. And we have split down the middle, split up front. And we can also have dual path since we have technically 2 guitar inputs. We can have a guitar or bass on the top and a guitar or bass on the bottom, or literally anything else. Maybe you have electric guitar and acoustic guitar, or maybe you play in a bluegrass band, or you're in a punk band, or whatever you want to set that up as. And then we have a vocal chain that you can use just for singing. And then lastly, you can have a vocal chain on top and a guitar chain or a bass chain on the bottom. So lots of flexibility here to tap into. I will go into the tried and true guitar signal routing, and let's go ahead and make a new rig. So tapping on a block, we can see that we have a lot more things to choose from, and they've also subcategorized most of these effects even farther down than what they were before. So if you know the older units, we mainly just had a modulation section that encompassed everything from chorus, flange, phase, tremolo, rotary, all that different stuff. And now they've really split it out into just chorus, phase and flange, vibe, trim, rotary, walls and filters, which there's a lot of wah-wahs in there, which is cool. We got the pitch block options, which is the chord wham, drop tune, all your favorites that you know and love. Volume and dynamics, which is your auto swells, your feedback, your hold, and your volume pedal. And we have utility, which has 3 different gates in here. And we got some reverbs here, which are the same as the other units, which is the air verb, ambiverb, 11 verb, party verb, shimmer, and spring verb. And we have a few new delays in here that we can go over. We do have a new Buddha comp, which is cool, we can look at. And a slew of other options for EQ. So we got graphic and para EQ, and this is a lot of really cool options here. And if you're a vocalist, this is probably something that you want to tap into, because you can do vocal harmonies, doubling, or choirs, all kinds of cool stuff. I'm not going to say I'm a great vocalist, but maybe the auto tune can help me along a little bit. And of course, we have the amp clone technology that we can go into a little bit later, and cabs and IRs and amplifiers. So we do have the stock Headrush amps that we've had in other units, but now we have access to the revolver amplifiers. And there's a lot of PV stuff in here, some Mezzo Boogie. We got some Diesel. A Triple X amp, which I haven't played on in years, so those are really fun. The Valve Kings. We got some Angle. Yeah, so there's just all kinds of great options in here. Let's go ahead and dive in and start making a rig. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a Valve King Clean. And then here lately, one of my favorite cabs is just the 1x12 Black Panel Lux. So let's go ahead and hear what this sounds like. And if you notice on this amplifier that we do have a built-in reverb, so I didn't even have to add a reverb block in there. I can just dial it in on the amp itself. Let's actually bring it down on the amp. So it sounds good so far. Let's go ahead and start maxing this thing out. And if you notice, we do have a CPU level up here. So certain blocks are going to have higher CPUs than others. I'm pretty sure in my experience so far, the revolver amps are a little bit higher in that CPU usage versus the legacy amplifiers. And also the cloning options give you a lot more CPU as well. So you have to be very mindful when you're building rigs, what you add in there. But for the most part, you can kind of go crazy. And let's just add in a hall reverb. And this is what we got. And now when we double tap on a block, we can actually bypass the block straight from the edit window. Because before you have to go back to the main screen, tap on the switch to bypass it, go back, double tap, edit something, go back, turn it off. And you don't have to do that anymore. You can just go right in, bypass the block on the edit screen, and then test your sounds. Turn it back on. Okay, so we can adjust the mix, adjust the size. And this is very comparable to how the gig board and MX5 work. We don't have the 3 knobs on the side like the Prime and the Headrush pedal board does. You just go into the edit view and then just slide your finger back and forth on the screen. So for reverb, I always like to have my tails on. Okay, let's say we go in and just turn off the reverb on the amplifier. So there's really no right or wrong way of doing this. It's just personal preference. And once you find the setting that your ears kind of perk up to, then that's the sound you should go for. All right, so let's go in and add a delay. Now we do have some new delays here from Buddha. And let's just have some fun with this new one here and see what that sounds like. Let's do quarters. And they're pretty bright, so we can bring the tone down on this. Adjust our mix, adjust our feedback. All right, and we can also go in and add an overdrive. Now there are tons and tons and tons of more overdrives available now. We actually have 3 different versions of the Tube Screamer. We have a Sheriff, which is really great. Be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell because I'm going to be going over tons more options here on the channel. And also check out my Headrush bundle down below, link in the description for a full overview of everything new that is in the unit. And I'll go through every amp, cab, microphone, and effect block and give you my thoughts and suggestions on the best way to build rigs on your Headrush. But let's go ahead and try one of these new ones here. We have a Buddha OM-OD. Let's choose overdrive. And right away, we need to bring the tone down on this. All right, and once again, we can bypass the block while we're in the edit window. So that way we're making sure we're keeping everything nice and level and gain staged. Also from the edit window, we can tap on this little block and we can go in and choose something totally different. It doesn't even have to be the same type of block that you're currently on. So we can go in and add in another amp, another delay, another EQ, another distortion, whatever you want. I just thought that was a really cool upgrade from previous legacy products, being able to have that functionality in the edit window. And let's choose a compressor. We do have a Buddha comp. So I'm kind of just trying some of the new stuff here. So pretty simple controls. We have gain, level, compression, and attack. Now, one thing I would really like to see on these Headrush units is a gain reduction meter somewhere on the screen so we can really tell what's going on with the compressor versus just having to use our ears all the time and just kind of poke around with the parameters. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully that will be implemented soon on the Headrush units, but who knows what will happen. Let's put in a tremolo here. All right, so now we've added a few blocks to the chain here. We can probably reorganize some of this stuff if you really want to. I guess there's no need to have everything so separated, so we can just do that. You can still pull things down and get to other rigs like you can on older units. Now we're going to save the rig by hitting the little card up in the top right hand corner, and now we're going to choose dock basic. And lo and behold, it has not been taken yet, so that's good. We're currently about 74% CPU, so take your risk to see if you want to add more stuff to this or not. Now, another cool thing what they've done with the switches is there are 5 now, and there's actually an A layer and there's a B layer. So check this out. If we go to the top and hit the little switch, you can see we have A and we have B. So we can hold the bank AB button to now switch between your second row of switches, which is really cool. So we have 5 switches, but it's actually like we have 10. And then when we use scenes, we can have 2 scenes per switch. Guess how many scenes we can have now? 20. We can have 20 scenes if you want to. That's just crazy stuff. I just can't believe it. There's a lot of great options here. And it's so accessible and very easy to get around. It really kind of puts other units to shame if you ask me how easy this is versus like fractals and everything else. So yeah, let's just go ahead and move some stuff around. So I don't necessarily want my amp and cab up here, and we can actually just tap on it and say unassigned like so. I don't need my reverb up there. I do want my tap tempo up there, and I can put my my OD and my comp, stuff like that. And then let's say, for example, we want some scenes up here. So you can't reassign the switch unless you have something called up to it. So let's actually keep that amp on there. I probably shouldn't have deleted it, but I did. Let's keep the cab on there. We can do some air verb. And let's put like a metronome for some reason. All right, so now we can toggle all these. And now you can see we have 4 scenes available, which is great. Let's actually go here as well. We'll do a looper. We can do like a looper start and stop. So go ahead and save that. So here's my different scenes I can switch between, which is really cool. If we go back in and we edit the scenes, we can have 2 different scenes set up just by hitting the plus, like so. Now you can see that the scenes are switching from one scene to the second scene. And we can also change the colors of these if we wanted to. So I usually like having scene 1 be like blue. Scene 2 is red. And maybe on this one, we want to have it be like yellow and orange. And on this one, we can have it be green and purple. And then the last one can be light blue and dark blue. All right, so now you can see you can alternate between different scenes, which is really cool. So this gives us the ability to have some scenes that we can turn on and off a lot of different effects at once, and then we can just bank down and get to our individual effects on and off. But you can have these in any combination that you want. So you could have like 3 scenes on a row and then your favorite overdrive and have your tap tempo. Then you can go over to the next bank. You can have all stomps. You can have combinations of scenes and stomps and literally whatever else you want. So it just really makes it for a very flexible setup, and everything should be right there at your feet just how you like it. And just switching back and forth between the different banks is really, really cool. So we do have the mode switch here. We can still go to our stomp mode. We can have 5 rigs across 5 switches. We can have 3 rigs across 3 switches, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we have our bank up and down on the sides, and then we can access 3 rigs in the middle. And then we can go into hybrid mode. We can have some scenes or stomps, and then we can go to different rigs within our set list here. And then we can actually go into set list, and we can choose all rigs or any other set list that we've created previously. All right, so we still have hands-free mode, which is what we are used to from the legacy products. And we can go into our looper, so we can record the loop, then we can stop it, and then we can start and stop like so. Then we can exit. And then of course we have our tuner, and we can also choose to mute the vocal channel as well. So you can have that on or you can have it off. Looking at the top left-hand corner, we have a Bluetooth signal, so we can actually stream music from our Bluetooth devices like phones or tablets to the Headrush Core. We have a Wi-Fi signal on here, so we can now actually access the Headrush cloud and do updates directly from the unit and not have to plug it into a computer, which is great. Then we can tap on the grid, and we have all these other options here for set lists, hardware assign, metronome, Headrush cloud. We can go into our amp cloner option. We can assign our global EQ, which is now very, very cool looking and way better than what we had before on the legacy units. It's just really, really good. So you can also have a separate global EQ for your XLR outputs and your 1/4 inch outputs. And I can just go ahead and reset everything. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell as I go into more aspects of the Headrush Core. And in the meantime, I'm Nathan from All Things Headrush, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep rocking.